Have you ever heard of a girl who agreed to be buried alive just to get married? It sounds unbelievable, but in the village of Ogbonna, nestled between rolling hills and dense forest, this was the story of a young woman named Adanna. Before we continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel for more captivating African stories. Adanna was 22, strong, and fearless in ways the villagers could not understand. Some said she was too proud, others whispered she was cursed. No man wanted to marry her, and the elders, who held tightly to the village traditions, believed she was destined to remain unmarried. Ogbonna was an old village, with thatched huts, red soil, and a river that cut through the town like a ribbon of silver. Families here valued courage and tradition above all else, and among the oldest traditions was something called the test of obedience. Few girls dared attempt it. It required a woman to be buried alive overnight in sacred soil at the edge of the village. Those who survived were considered worthy of marriage, those who didn't, were simply never spoken of again. Adanna's father, Ogbonna, had died when she was a child, leaving her to care for her younger siblings. Her mother, Neka, worried endlessly, knowing the tradition might claim her daughter one day. But Adanna, brave and determined, was ready to face what others feared. One day, news arrived that the elders had chosen a suitor for Adanna, a young farmer from the neighboring town of Umuse, named Chiki. Chiki was known for his kindness and intelligence, but he was cautious. When he heard of the ritual, he hesitated. The elders insisted it was necessary. To everyone's surprise, Adanna agreed without hesitation. She would face the burial ritual, not because she feared marriage, but because she was determined to claim her future on her own terms. The villagers whispered and shook their heads. Some thought she would never survive. Chiki, who had come to respect her courage, felt a mix of worry and admiration. The morning of the ritual, Adanna prepared carefully. She carried a small satchel containing water, food, and herbs her grandmother had taught her to use. Her best friend, Ifioma, walked with her, pale-faced but supportive. The elders dug the grave, a shallow depression in sacred soil. Adanna stepped in calmly, laid down, and allowed the soil to cover her. Darkness and earth surrounded her. She whispered quietly to herself, calling upon the spirits to protect her and guide her through the night. As night deepened, strange noises came from the nearby forest. Branches rustled, leaves whispered, and the occasional owl hooted. The villagers outside were tense, holding torches, murmuring prayers, and wondering if Adanna would survive. Inside the grave, Adanna focused on her breathing. She thought about her siblings, her mother, and the life she wanted to build. The herbs released calming scents, clearing her mind. She remembered her grandmother's words, "The spirit of the earth listens to those who are brave and pure." Time felt endless, but she repeated her mantra quietly, staying calm. Her thoughts drifted to Chiki, hoping he would not lose faith in her bravery. Outside, the villagers argued quietly. Some were praying. Some were shaking their heads, convinced she wouldn't make it. Mama Obi, an elder, muttered to her neighbor, "No one has survived this ritual in years." Chiki paced nervously, muttering to himself. He had come to respect her courage, and now he wished he could do more. He remembered stories of young women who had tried before, and failed. He silently prayed, hoping Adanna had prepared herself better than anyone else. Inside the grave, Adanna thought about the future she wanted. She imagined herself walking freely through the village, helping her siblings, teaching girls in the village. She imagined herself married to Chiki, building a life of equality and respect. She focused on her breathing, using the herbs to maintain warmth and clarity. Occasionally, she heard faint sounds, wind, animals, the distant river, but she did not panic. She whispered encouragement to herself, "I am strong. I will survive. I am ready." As the night progressed, Adanna felt a strange warmth beneath the soil, almost like a protective presence. She imagined the spirits of her ancestors surrounding her, guarding her from harm. Outside, villagers began noticing odd patterns in the wind, like whispered voices. Some thought it was the earth itself speaking. Chiki could hear the soft rustling, and for a moment, he wondered if the stories of spirits were true. The hours felt endless. Adanna's fingers dug slightly into the soil, testing its firmness, feeling every movement above. She recalled stories her grandmother had told her, of women who had survived through focus, patience, and respect for the earth. She began softly chanting a protective prayer, imagining the soil as her ally, the forest as her guardian, and the ancestors as her mentors. Every breath reinforced her determination. Every heartbeat reminded her of the life waiting beyond the soil. As the first light began creeping over the hills, the elders returned to check on her. The soil was carefully removed, layer by layer. Finally, they reached her. Adanna emerged from the earth, her hair damp and covered in soil, but her eyes shining with determination. The villagers gasped. Some fell to their knees. Others whispered apologies under their breath. Chikia's jaw dropped. He had never seen such courage. The elders nodded solemnly. Adanna had survived a ritual that many thought impossible. From that day on, Adanna was no longer just another young woman in Ogbonna. She became a symbol of strength, courage, and wisdom. The villagers realized that fear and superstition had no power over someone who was prepared, determined, and courageous. Adanna married Chiki soon after, not because she had to, but because she had proven herself worthy in a way that no one else could. The village had learned an important lesson. Preparation, courage, and knowledge could outshine fear and tradition. Adanna went on to teach the young girls in the village, sharing knowledge about courage, preparation, and respect for the earth. She advised the elders, challenging outdated traditions while honoring those that were meaningful. She helped her siblings grow, and her marriage with Chiki became an example of equality, partnership, and respect. Ogbonna slowly changed, becoming a place where courage was admired, not feared, and knowledge was respected alongside tradition. And so, the story of Adanna, the girl who agreed to be buried alive, lived on in Ogbonna for generations. Not as a tale of fear, but as a story of wisdom, bravery, and the power of the human spirit. She showed that courage paired with preparation can change not just one life, but the future of an entire village. And whenever the story is told, young girls in Ogbonna remember that bravery and knowledge are the truest forms of power.